Hey there guys, what's going on? So the train of catching up on making videos and doing some new things rolls on here on the Vinyl Corner now that I am back with pretty much fistfuls of ideas and things, both new and backed up by the unfortunate technical glitches I've been experiencing lately. Go back a couple of videos for the explanation on that. But now I am catching up here. I'm getting things straightened up. I'm doing some tidying, some spring cleaning here as we head into the warm weather. And I want to continue on in that vein with another vinyl unboxing today in the form of Glen Hansard's tribute EP to the great Songs Ohio, Magnolia Electric Company, solo musician, artist, provocateur. Maybe that's a bit of too illustrious of a word, but you know, the sad portrait of a man now unfortunately departed of this earth. Jason Molina with It Was a Triumph We Once Proposed, the songs of Jason Molina. Now this features Glen Hansard and other former members of Songs Ohio, just kind of a collaboration of people coming together. They went and recorded this at Jeff Tweedy and Wilco's studio, The Loft, down in Chicago, which is a beautiful recording space, and put together, you know, just a group of 5 songs, including one of my favorites, Hold On Magnolia, and Farewell Transmission. Just a nice little docket of songs. I didn't get to really make a review on this, but I will say this much about it. No one can really touch the sheer underappreciated mastery that was Jason Molina's songs. Ignore the phone ringing back there. If you've listened to any of his stuff, from the Magnolia Electric Company record to Didn't It Rain to, you know, anything in between, he was not only prolific and released so many things, you know, under Songs Ohio, under Magnolia Electric Company, the great Josephine album, under his solo heading, and he just kind of kept going off and on until, you know, just the issues of alcohol abuse and just things caught up to him, and his end is just too sad of a thing to talk about. But he was such a beautiful writer and poet, and a voice that always reminds me of Neil Young. And there's thankfully with music, if anything, there's a great body of work that, you know, in his case, he was able to leave behind for us to appreciate. Unfortunately, he is not here anymore to, you know, to really get the proper lauding for that he deserved. But thankfully, Secretly Canadian is putting out a bunch of his material. They're putting it out on vinyl again. You know, stuff like this is happening. And what's great about this, I think, is, you know, maybe fans of Glen Hansard, if you really read into this, there's a great backstory between Jason and Glen, going back to Songs Ohio, when Glen happened to discover Songs Ohio, and they ended up touring together, and going, you know, having these shows together. Songs Ohio would open for Glen, and all this business. Really just, you know, great stuff, and you know, great backstory. But I think the thing about it that's really, you know, excellent is maybe Glen Hansard fans will hear this, you know, and they'll really, you know, maybe be like, well, who is this guy, you know? And then it's like, well, you get to, you know, the thing that I think I'm trying to get to here, which is taking me all day, is that, you know, that his interpretations can obviously never touch the originals. You know, Molina is Molina, and that was just, you know, that's it right there. He was just the only person who could truly sing these songs with the emotion and the true embittered, like, sadness and joy, and just the releasing and the, you know, the catharsis of pain and all these other things. They were so originally his that they could never be anything but that. But I like that the interpretation comes because not only is it sweetly and joyfully done in remembrance of him, I think it is also something that could expose other people to his works, and I think that is just as fine of a thing that you could possibly do. So this is the cover here, as I've fallen behind in my very long-winded analogy there. And here is the back, featuring these 5 songs: Being in Love, Hold On Magnolia, Farewell Transmission, Vanquisher, and White Sulphur. Inside, we have some handwritten things going on here. It might be some lyrics. I'm not entirely certain myself. It's a little bit hard to read. And on the back, goes into that backstory a little bit with, kind of goes into a little bit with Jason Molina's history and his early stuff. And then there's some things with their tour posters when they toured together. Songs Ohio, Glen Hansard, The Frames, and Songs Ohio, which was another one of Glen Hansard's bands. Thanks who performed on the record, to be played loudly, which I think is a very important fact to keep in mind. And inside is, a pretty standard black pressing of the record. Nothing too, 180 gram, beautifully outstanding quality thing about it. But, it's a solid record. It plays well. And it sounds great loud. So definitely, if you like some Glen Hansard, if you, a little bit of a different interpretation on Jason Molina's work, anything like that, you should definitely go check out It Was a Triumph We Once Proposed, the songs of Jason Molina, courtesy of Glen Hansard and Friends. It's kind of reminds me a little bit of things like when Joseph Arthur released Lou after Lou Reed died, and he went into the studio and did a bunch of Lou Reed songs and things. Or when Jim James did the same thing back in the early 2000s after George Harrison passed away. I think there's some sort of inspiration to that, and I think something that it can impart to other people and things that other people can learn as a result of that. So if you have not heard of Jason Molina to this point or whatever, I definitely suggest going to check that out. And I hope you enjoyed this little vinyl unboxing here for this little collaboration. And keep it tuned here, guys, because we've got so much more still to come.